What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Medicaid for another Dropzone stream. Today, I am your host, Josh, and I am joined by Ian from ZED Champions, head of players. How are you doing, Ian?
Good, Josh. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a beautiful day here in the Midwest. A little too hot, but I can't complain. Market's going up, having a ton of fun in ZED Champions, and we've got a ton of people that want to learn more. So I'm super stoked for this.
Me too. Me too. And it's awesome. I think it's the perfect time in the market where Web3 is starting to heat up again. You're seeing all these NFT collections starting to really pump on OpenSea. You've got Bitcoin around 120. You got ETH right below 4K. It's exciting, right? This feels like 2021, leading into that massive bull cycle, which I'm sure we were all a part of and made us feel in love with this whole space.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. 2021 was insane and everybody's waiting for that altcoin season. But what I really love to see is, all the projects that have been around for years that we've heard about, over the course of last cycle and everything, still sticking around and still building. And it's even more exciting that we've got Medicaid doing this drop zone and finding tons of partners to do it with. And it's just so funny to me that the first partner that they kick off an initiative with is ZED Champions, who I actually don't have history with, but I've got a solid long-term memory of anyway. So
Yeah, it's awesome. And what was it, like a $4 NFT? And we're giving away $100 in ZED and ReZED. Like, I mean, again, feels like 2021 again. It's starting to heat back up. Speaking of ZED Run, were you a player back in 2021?
I was for a short amount of time, but I was so busy. Like I bet you I can find my wallet that has the old assets in it even.
Me too. Me too. Yeah, I was a player back in, yeah, I started in 2021. So it's been like 4 years, which is crazy. Time flies. And I recently joined ZED Champions, VHS Lab, which owns ZED Champions and has created both of those games as head of players the past 6 months. And really, we're super excited to get two platforms out the door. We'll be talking mostly about ZED Champions because that's what the Dropzone NFT was utilizing, and all these players got $100 in ReZED to play ZED Champions. But also, I want to have a chance later on in the show to talk about ZED Picks, which is our Web2 app that is actually already on both app stores. It's on the Apple App Store and it's on the Google Play Store. And this is actually going to be integrated into ZED Champions as the overall spectator layer, where anyone, whether you're in Web 2, whether you're in Web 3, you can go download this app and you can actually make picks on real races, real horses, and we're going to be merging the two platforms, continuing to in the next 3 to 6 months.
Now that is actually really cool because I'm not going to get too much into it, but one of my favorite projects in the entire crypto space, I'm not even going to name drop, but they are a horse racing stable, right? Like, so they've got real horses. They've got over $1.5 million
Oh,
of
wow.
horses and they race every week. It's harness racing and stuff like that. So, and it's tokenized. So it's like, fractional ownership of horse racing. And now you're almost marrying the two, right? You're doing that, they're doing that, and it's really exciting. And it's funny because I was never a huge horse guy until all of this.
Me neither. Yeah. I mean, I've watched, the Belmont Stakes or the Kentucky Derby, but never a big horse guy until ZED Run, now ZED Champions. Now I can't get enough of the horses, you know?
Yeah.
And I love our IP because you're right. We've been around since, even before 2021, but that's obviously when ZED Run really kind of rose to fame. But our IP is so recognizable, not only in the Web3 space, but also outside of the space, because NFTs kind of reached this massive breaking point back then, and we were on CNBC. We were featured in all these other news publications, and you see that horse, and you recognize the name Zed, and that's really what we're trying to build off of. Even though the old game is no longer, and it's kind of this new game ZED Champions, we're still building off of that IP. We think that's very important.
Yeah, No, and it definitely is. And I think it was a good thing that you kept with the Zed name because, brand recognition for people like me, for example, like I can relate that back to 2021. This is a company that's been around for years, right? In my mind, like, but before we do dive into everything, could I ask, like, what brought on the change and redesign? And if I'm not mistaken, originally Zed Run was on Polygon. Now we're on Base.
Yep.
So obviously I've got a good understanding as why no longer Polygon, but maybe for people that aren't as familiar or that feel like they do have recollection of Zed Run, can you connect the dots for them a little bit?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So Zed Run, obviously, huge game. I was a player. I didn't work for VHS at the time, but I was very heavily involved in the community. I did spaces a bunch, but what really needed to happen inside of Zed Run, especially when the market took such a big turn after the bubble, kind of ended, was we saw 95% drawdowns, and we needed to really become a sustainable business and create a sustainable game economic model that really revolved around the Zed token, but also allowed players to kind of come in, breed horses, have them automatically race. We learned a lot of mistakes that happened with Zed Run, and so we really wanted to take what worked, right? And there's a reason why, and we can get into the specific details of how Zed Champions work. But there's 4,320 horses, for example, in the racing pool. That's by design, right? We have 8 race horses that run every 80 seconds. That's all by design. Your horse runs automatically twice a day, right? By design, because we learned that there were these pain points back in Zed Run. The horse population was out of control, and people really couldn't keep up, right? There was a lot of phases with Zed Run that we don't have to rehash, but there was a lot of good stuff that came with Zed Run as well. And so we wanted to take the good and then also move from Polygon to Base because we believe Base is where the next wave of builders are building. You have a lot of really good projects building, including Medicaid and us and a ton of other projects. And this is where we think the future of Web3 is. So we took the old game, took what we liked about it, create a new one, and built it on the platform, on the blockchain that we think will succeed in the next 5, 10 years.
Yeah. And I totally think you made a great choice there. I support it. And not only that, like the difference in the game, I think the game has gotten much better as well. It's a lot easier to understand. I love how when you go, I'm not going to jump the gun. For everybody that's confused, though, because now we could have a load of people that are confused. Currently, we have 125 people watching across all the platforms, and some might just want to learn what this is all about. So could you share a little bit about, I know we talked about you can buy horses, you can stake, and you can breed, but like a little bit more about like how does the key gameplay work? What is Zed Champion overall?
Yeah. So when you first log into Zed Champions, and all you need is an email address, we made it super easy for people to really get in, register, get a stable. We actually give you a free breeding horse that comes with your stable and with your wallet. So super easy to log in just with your email. Once you log in, you'll notice that soul-bound breeding horse in your stable. This is the first, you can think of it as a building block for building out your stable. And what you're going to do is you can either buy horses on the marketplace or you can use your soul-bound stud to then go and breed with someone else's, right? And so when you're breeding with your horses, auctions are about 8 hours right now. So after that ends, you will have a new foal, a new racehorse. And so that racehorse is automatically entered. Remember that 3,000 or 4,320 race pool that I mentioned? It's automatically entered into that race pool. And one of the horses in that race pool actually gets kicked out or retired, right? It can be manual or it can be forced. And that makes that fixed amount always that same number, always the same number of races, always the same number of horses. And then your horse that was just recently bred will then race automatically twice a day, like I mentioned, up to 5 times. And then it can exit the racing pool, or you can continue to run it as much as you want. there are stats and there are underlying traits like speed, sprint, and endurance that will affect the overall racing career of that racehorse. But the beautiful, simple thing, and I think that this was one of the most important things that we brought new to ZED Champions that wasn't a part of ZED Run, is the automated racing. Because I tried to onboard so many of my Web2 friends into ZED Run back in 2021, 2022, as I'm sure a lot of people who were playing back then did as well. And it was so hard to get some people, not just because of how complicated it was to breed and to try to understand all the different Z numbers, but also because you had to enter horses into races every single day. It was a very manual process.
Yeah.
For ZED Champions, we've removed all of that, right? We made it super easy to sign up, email wallet, like I mentioned. You already get a horse that you can start breeding with. And then once you breed that horse is automatically entered into the racing pool. It's going to race 5 times regardless, automatically. So really, it's just a few clicks, and then all of a sudden you're off to the races. And that's by design. And we're very excited about what we're seeing in these first 2 seasons of ZED Champions.
Yeah, it's definitely a whole lot simpler. In the matter of like 5 minutes, I had my account. I paid too much at an auction. I had a baby horse. Marky Mark is ready to race.
Marky Mark.
Yep. And we're off to the races. So it's super simple. And I'm not even gonna lie too. It's incredibly addicting because I also staked on like 15 different horses. Then I've got to watch their race too, right? You just get sucked into it and it's super addicting because you get excited, right? Or you get mad and you want to send your horse over to the food factory.
Yeah. I'm so glad you brought up staking, because staking is this new mechanic that came out just a few weeks ago, right? Like it's only a couple weeks old, and it's made it even simpler to get involved and to be invested into ZED Champions, because you don't even need to own a horse, right? So everything I just was talking about, super easy, right? But you still have to breed a horse. That horse still needs to be good. It needs to enter the racing pool. And then you're going to have to make decisions based off of its competition. The augments, which we can get into, are kind of like these attached power-ups that you attach to your horse that makes its performance during the race, better. But staking kind of removes all of that. And we said, okay, there are some people that want to breed horses. Obviously, there are some people that just love the game, love dissecting all the different bloodlines. But a lot of people just want to come in, stake on a horse, right? Feel invested. We were talking about fractionalized ownership of horses, real horses,
That's what it is.
a minute ago. This is kind of the same thing, but on the digital plane, right? We're letting
Yeah.
anyone come in, and this applies to everyone watching who just got $100 of ReZED with your Medicaid NFT. Go into the game, go to the leaderboard, right? In fact, can I share my screen? I actually have it up. We can actually go
Absolutely.
through this. Perfect. Okay, so you're at the home page, you're on the dashboard of ZED Champions, right? You can even see I'm staking on the number 1 horse in the game right now, Shoals. But for everyone here who has ReZED, right, from the Medicaid NFT drop, all you're going to do is you're going to go to this leaderboard right here. Okay. And then once it loads, we're going to go to the race horses. Let me refresh. And you're going to see all the best horses in the game, right? What we're looking at is some of the best horses in the game. You have Shoals at number 1. You have Donkey Curry at number 2, Homestretch Limo at number 3, Mamba Duchess number 4, right? So what you're going to do is you're just going to stake on a horse. Obviously, I've already staked on Shoals, but let's say I want to stake on the competitor, Donkey Curry. You can either stake in ZED or ReZED. For this Medicaid drop, everyone got $100 worth of ReZED, so I will choose ReZED, and you can stake, your entire amount on one horse. So I'm going to say, I'm just going to do 1,000 right here, and then I'm going to stake, and this takes 20 seconds maybe to process our transaction on the blockchain, but that's pretty much it, right? That's boom, staking successful. So, and then you'll see it has both of my stakes right here. And so they're about to race actually in a bit. And once they do, if they do well, like you can see Donkey Curry has won its last race, right? And it's got that big plus 129,000, ReZED. I get a cut of that, right? And everyone who stakes in these horses gets a cut of the winnings. And for every new stake that comes on, it redistributes to every staker on that horse. So it always pays to be early. So what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of players. You're going to see a lot of players go to horses that were just bred and kind of scout them out, right? In fact, just a few days ago, we had our first 5-star. Let me see if I can pull him up. He's got a great name.
I was trying to find him earlier.
Yeah. He's got a great name. So we have leaderboard filters that makes this super easy.
I think it was Just Stake It, right?
Yeah, Just Stake It. So obviously it's the only 5-star in the game. But if I go to his horse page, you can also just click this giant big button that says stake on this horse. And you can see it already has over 1.1 million ZED staked on it. Shout out to Ascension Stables. They bred the first 5-star. I'm going to stake just for the hell of it on stream. But this is awesome, right? This is what we want. We want good horses being bred every day by the people who understand the game and the breeding aspect. But also we want people coming in and just staking. It's super simple. It's like 2 clicks. There's going to be obviously scouting that's a part of it. But obviously you want that. You want a strategy game where you have people having different roles. You have breeders looking into all the nuance of breeding bloodlines and generations. But then you have other people that are just coming in and they're prospecting their talents. They're seeing, hey, this horse was, only has 6 races run, and it could have, a 60, 100 race season. Well, it pays to be early, right? And everyone listening and watching this stream, this is what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to analyze your prospects, and that's how you're going to really excel at this game, especially in staking.
Yeah. And that you brought up a good point. This is what people are going to want to do. And we might actually have a situation where we have a lot of Dropzone NFT holders that actually don't know how to get in the first place. And since you have your screen up, would you be able to show how they would go about that? I know you mentioned it's super simple. You put in your email address, you get a 6-digit code to your email, boom, you're in. But I know that the Dropzone NFT holders do have an extra step that they need to make sure that they do in order to get their $100 of our ReZED.
Yep, exactly. So what you're going to do is in this top right corner, you're going to, once you're in, and again, you said it perfectly, all you need is your email address. You're going to want to connect another external wallet. So if you just come in here and you connect a MetaMask, Coinbase, Wallet Connect, Rainbow, doesn't really matter. There's like 400 wallet options, but make sure you attach the wallet, the wallet that has the Dropzone NFT. And then what we do is on our end, we just run a query, right? And we match up the ZED wallet address, which is this address up here, with the linked external wallet that has the Dropzone NFT.
Yeah, and it didn't take long either. It took like I think it took me like an hour, and I did it a couple days late even. So it didn't take long at all. And
no, it's just a database query. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It's just a database query. So make sure you do that if you're still waiting to get paid out. But yeah, super easy.
Yeah, no, super simple. I mean, it's like connecting your wallet anywhere. But now there's a lot of different things you can do with ReZED. But I was running into some situations where I was unsure if I was able to do that or not. But like, what all can you actually do with the ReZED? So you can stake, but what else?
So mostly it's breeding. So ReZED it's a powerful currency where it's wrapped 1-to-1 with the ZED token, right? And that's the ERC20 that's been around since 2022 or 2023, right? But it's wrapped 1-to-1 with ZED, and you actually have to breed or stake it and it actually gets unwrapped in the racing pool, right? So you can think of ZED as a centralized one-to-one currency where you can't just extract it. And this was really important for us because the Web3 space can be full of people that don't really care about the game and or don't really want to play. And this mechanic basically lets people play and then get their ZED token on the way out. So the two use cases, which you've already mentioned, staking, you would stake on a horse like Just Stake It, and then when Just Stake It retires, you would then get all the staked amount into ZED, right? And then you just turned ReZED into ZED. And it's the exact same mechanic when you're breeding. If I go to, and I will go to the stud auctions just for everyone to see what this is all about. If I was going to breed with this Nakamoto right here, I would use ReZED or ZED, but if you have ReZED, it works. And then once that horse goes into the racing pool, it's actually ZED. And when that horse retires, you then get that amount back in ZED. So the whole thing is kind of like a lock unlock cycle, which again is pretty intuitive, and it's pretty revolutionary when it comes to Web3 gaming. I haven't seen a game anyone else do this like we've implemented it. So we're very proud of what we've built.
No, it's an awesome way also to welcome new players in without just having, I mean, how many people have claimed the ReZED so far?
A lot. So we have distributed over 550 Dropzone players, which is huge in Web3. I know that number might seem small to like any Web2 game, right? But in Web3, like you're seeing DAU in the hundreds and in the small thousands. This is a lot of people, right? This is a lot of people to come in, and we're really excited about it. We've already distributed 6 million of ReZED, which in USD terms is 60K.
Yeah.
Again, you're not seeing this anywhere else in Web3. Like you're not, like there's not another Web3 game welcoming this many people and spending $60,000 on new players. Like that's crazy. That's unheard of, especially in this kind of mini cycle, right? So again, really excited, and it really seems like these drop zone players are loving the game because we've already seen over 1.4 million ZED or ReZED staked
Oh,
and bred. So like combined, it's almost 1.5 million. So again, we're just cracking the surface, right? Like we gave out 6 million, and that was over the past 2 days, past 24 hours, and we're already seeing a huge percentage of that being staked and being bred. And so I think that number will continue to increase with this stream and with players getting more familiar and comfortable with the game.
yeah, no, that's an absolutely massive number, and no small feat for any company either. Like especially in Web3 gaming, we know that Web3 gaming is still catching up to the rest of altcoins and stuff like that. So like a lot of Web3 games are not running around throwing out half $100,000, right?
No,
And that leads to my exact point as to why I asked that is because this mechanic where you can bring in new people, let them try it out. If they stick around, yeah, they can extract something, but you don't have people just extracting $60,000 from the token, right?
exactly. Right. Yeah. And you can't do that. That's not sustainable. And that's one of the things that, again, I keep going back to with Zed Run. It was a great game. I loved it. We all loved it. Right. But it wasn't sustainable. Right. And we needed to build these rails so that we can build a sustainable game that will not just excel in the next bull market, which fingers crossed it looks like we're heading into, but will also stick around after that because you see so many games shut their doors and it's sad, right? Like how many of those games from 2021 are still around? The answer is 5%, right? 95% of 2021 startups in the Web3 space shut down. And that's not to say that Zed Run didn't have its hardships or anyone else did, but we stuck around, right? And I think that that's super important. Like, yes, it's a new game, but we rewarded a lot of our old players when we first launched, and really, it's a testament to we're still here. Like, everyone knows our name, our IP is very recognizable, and I think that that makes us very successful heading into, again, the next Web3 bull market, because people are going to look at names and projects that they recognize and that weathered the storm. Because that means if we weathered the storm in 2023, we're going to weather the next bear market, right?
Right. Yeah. No, brand recognition is absolutely massive. I mean, think about like why people go across the world and they still buy Pepsi, they still buy Coke because it's all they know there. Right.
Right.
And if you're searching for a new gem to buy, a lot of times, like I'll be looking at something that's like older, sometimes I'll call them dino coins. Right. But I want something that either I recognize or that has history behind it. And a lot of people look that way. They zoom the chart out and they're like, oh yeah, this has been around a while. They've been around the block. They're not going to disappear and rug me tomorrow.
Exactly, exactly. And again, I'm not throwing shade at any of those startups or games that had to shut down. Like, it's very tough out there, right? Especially in the Web3 space. But again, like, if you're looking for projects to get involved in, and you're coming back into Web3 because again things are heating up, you're going to gravitate towards the projects that you recognize, because it's kind of like the Lindy effect, right? The more we stick around, the the greater likelihood that we are to exist.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. And now just to take it back to the reset a little bit, because so there's actually a question here, and that's part of the reason why I'm doing that. But AI
Perfect.
Tech says, so you buy a mate for the stable horse we get, and yes, like Ian did say, you can buy that with ReZED. So when you go to auction for a mate, that's where you would spend your ReZED. Maybe you could show them how you could switch it to ReZED.
Sure. Yeah. Just to make sure that I answer that question fully. So you have the marketplace, right? And this is where you buy horses on the market, whether they're a male or female. That is only in Zed. But then you have the stud auctions or the stud marketplace. And if you have a male, you would put your stud in this auction. And how you would do it is you would come up here in the top right and you would say create auction. And I will pick just the first uh, stud that I have, and it's creating, boom. So this stud that I own is now in the auctions, right? And you can see him right here. Now, if I want to breed with him or any other um, stud on the market, I would go to this button, place bid, and now it's going to bring up all of my females, all of my mares, right?
So you
And so
can
I'm
breed
going,
with yourself.
you can breed with yourself. Exactly. It is an open marketplace, right? So um there's no premise to have like a secret affair and have your own horse without any competition. But yes, it is very possible to breed with yourself. You're just going to have to compete with others. So I'm going to pick Sparkling Salami as the mare that I
I love
want
the
to
name.
breed. Yeah, I think this was an AI one, but I love it. And so right here, you can see you can use ReZED or Zed, right? So there's a toggle right here on the right hand side. And so this allows you to either switch between Zed or ReZED. And another pretty cool feature that we've implemented so that you don't miss any action with auctions is auto bids. So if I wanted to put in the minimum bid, which is 100 Zed, but I wanted to say I'm willing to uh, go up to 1,000, what it's going to do is if anyone bids above 100 but under 1,000, it's actually going to automatically auto bid higher in increments of 10. Just so I can make sure that I'm always getting what I spend. So if I'm willing to spend 1,000, actually, let's make it 2,000. And then so it's going to put my 100 Zed up there. Open Mosaic is the horse, Sparkling Salami is the mare. If I go back to auctions, you'll see that my top bid is 100, which is that first minimum that I put. And this is the current leading bid. This number will go up when someone else raises the bid. and then I'll continue to automatically compete with him or her until it hits 2000 Zed, which is my spending cap. But again, making it super simple and making sure that no one misses action, whether they have to go to bed, whether they have a meeting, whether they have to go drive somewhere. You're always kind of locked in with this auto bid feature.
Yeah, auto bid is really nice because I mean, I was sitting there and I was bidding on horses and like I was just rebidding. I'm like fighting to the end to get
It's
these horses.
competitive. It's competitive. Look, the buy now price, which is kind of the you can think of the buy now price, this number right here, as the minimum bid that you would need to actually breed a horse, which every horse gets into the racing pool. So you can think of the buy now price as kind of the min price to get a horse into the racing pool. But we're seeing, it's crazy. We're still seeing breeds go for 10,000 Zed. Like there's this mentality that people have that, it's cutthroat sometimes.
Yeah, I think I paid like 3,800 for a 3-star breed. you know,
Trust me, we'll come back to this horse probably, and it'll be probably past my 2000 auto bid. It's the market is pretty crazy right now. I do want to leak something. I do. I have to leak something because we're on the subject, right?
we like the alpha.
Right. Yeah. Here's the alpha. So as of right now, like I mentioned, all auctions are 8 hours, right? That's the minimum time it takes to be settled. Well, we're looking at shortening that timer to 1 hour. 1 hour.
Nice.
So if you're wanting to get in on the action and have some fast pace breeding, 1 hour is going to be the new value. Hopefully, either tonight or in the next few days, right? So we're very excited about that. If you hop into Discord and join our Discord, we've been kind of teasing and leaking these kinds of details, but we're really excited. This was actually the value that we had in beta, and we saw really good results. We saw like a lot of horses being bred. Look, I was just outbid. Look, so I told you. See, the max bid is now 2010. Might be
So
someone watching.
when somebody win or like when that auction ends, do you get the balance basically?
Yeah. So once my max bid has been outbid, I just get the bid back, right?
No, I mean like
Um,
because you put open mosaic out for the auction. So
yes.
like if the bid gets up to like 4,000 Zed, right? What happens with that 4,000 Zed?
Oh, great question. Great question. So this is where we're talking about allocating of the budget. All let's say that this horse, open mosaic, gets bid at 10,000, right? So 60% of that is actually going to go to the owner of the horse, right? And then 10% is actually going to go to the stud. So really what we're seeing is it actually was 50-50, but we actually increased these fees to give it more to the players because we really wanted to give more back. So what happens is you actually don't get that money. Everything gets transferred into the racing pool. So as a stake. So the owner of the mare actually is the horse owner of the new foal, right? It's my horse either way because I'm breeding with him unless I lose this auction. I shouldn't. I'm gonna have to re up, but whoever wins this stud auction will get the new foal. That new foal is going to have a balance of 60% of the breeding fee, so 6,000 of the 10,000, and then you're going to have the stud owner also have 10% of that fee as well. And so actually it's 55 and then 10%, so 65 total. But that being said, what happens is let's go 3,000. Let's see what happens now.
Gotta win.
I know, we gotta win. So what happens is the horse then goes into the racing pool, has to race at least 5 races, right? Hopefully longer if it's a better horse. If it's a good horse, you want it obviously racing as long as possible. And then the 55% of that stake is owned by the owner of the foal, which is the mare owner, and then the stud owner gets rewarded with 10% of that stake. So ideally, if you have a really good stud, you're incentivized to put them into the stud auction because you're actually been outbid. What the heck? But I'm telling you, it's so competitive. But really, if you have a stud, a good stud, you want to put them into the stud auctions, and you want your offspring to be good because that means you have a cut in their career. You have a stake in their career automatically, 10%, right? And you can follow up with more stakes, right? You can always add more stakes, even if you're the owner, even if you were the stud owner, but you're going to want to automatically get that 10% into its racing career. So it's just more incentive, right? More incentive to put your stud in and more incentive to breed with quality because both owners, the stud and the mare owners, will have such a large percentage of that initial stake when that horse is racing.
Totally. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And yeah, I think a lot of people probably had that question. Otherwise, you just answered it for me. So,
Yeah, I'm
but
telling
no,
you,
that's
Matt.
actually great mechanics too. Like you're basically attached to the horse and its offspring forever. You know.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's like a chain effect. Like what we wanted, and this was one of the things that we learned from Zed Run, is we want people to build their stable, right? Like we're giving you building blocks to build out your stable. This starts with the soul-bound horse that you get for free, right? But then once you start breeding, we want you to continue to be invested in the offspring because that means you can continue working your lineage and your bloodline and the generations that come through. It's all, it's all kind of mechanical. It's addicting. I keep getting outbid. This is crazy. Who is doing this?
It's probably somebody in the Discord. They're like, there's no way we're letting Ian self-breed.
It's a it's a 3-star horse, and I think we're already past 4,000 Zed. It's crazy.
That is crazy. And it makes me want to talk about something a little bit different because it goes to show you that there is a thriving community behind this because I don't see a way where you can set up a bot to manage all of this. You have to be active in the dashboard to actually do it. At least I didn't see any API connections and stuff like that to build a bot. But can you explain what makes Zed Champions, different and stand out from the rest of the Web3 gaming pack?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny that you bring up an API because that is actually something that we are building to give to players. If you remember what was happening with Zed Run, is we had a bunch of creators. The we had a bunch of creators that built tools all around Zed Run, right? And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to recreate that model. We want to give an official API so that people can build in the community and build tools and foster growth amongst players. Like our players should be our biggest cheerleaders. That is going back to what you said, a huge value prop that we have is our existing community that has stuck with us since 2021 or even before, right?
Yeah.
Everyone that you're seeing, these are people that played Zed Run, right? And they've stuck with us. And of course, we're welcoming with new players, and that's why we're doing the Dropzone NFTs, and we're super excited for Medicaid and their community to become involved. But this game is just addicting because it's so simple, yet there's a lot to master about the game, right? Like if you want to dive into bloodlines, you want to dive into breeding, you can do that. And then once that horse is bred and in the racing pool, then you can dive into augments, right? And there's a whole other world out there with augments, and we haven't even covered augments. So let me get into that because this is one of my racing pool horses that I bred earlier today, honorable classic.
Nice.
Um, and you can see you have 3 augments slots to choose from, right? And all of these augments are, you can think of them as power ups that will either activate passively or conditionally throughout the race. So if you're just looking at this, um, if I wanted to get a major speed boost when I'm 20 meters behind the leader, I'm going to save that off, right? And I'm going to watch when this horse races and see the performance and see if that GX Core C augment activated or not, right? And it'll form my strategy going forward. It's the same thing with the next three slots as well. You have 15 augments currently to choose from, right, out of these three slots. And again, it's just enhanced strategy because you're going to want to watch the race. You're going to want to watch how your horse performs, and then you can adjust on the fly and watch what works and what doesn't, and then continue to improve on your horse's career. That's the whole point, right? So it's going back to what makes us different is we've been around for a long time, so you automatically recognize our IP, but we're a new game with all of these. Really, no one else is doing what we're doing, and it's these new mechanics that really get us excited. Gets me excited, right? Because you could have a game team that just kind of coasted off of the old Zed Run IP, right? But we're continuing to take risks and we're continuing to innovate. And these features that we're doing, you're not seeing anywhere else for a reason because we invented them, right? Like we're taking
Right.
mechanics around Web3 and putting them together in a digital horse racing game, right? And that's super exciting. So I don't think there's anyone out there that's doing what we're doing. I hope they're taking note and we can inspire others. But again, super excited. It's simple to play. There's a lot of things to do, right? Whether it's breed, stake, strategize around augments, and we're just really excited for people to continue to be a part of Zed.
Yeah, no, it's super exciting. There's a ton of different choices. Like I noticed even when you're breeding, there's different power-ups that you can somehow get. I've got no idea how, but like there's even more that you can do. So and you keep talking about like doing research into the bloodline and stuff like that. Now I'm gonna ask this partially greedily for myself, but also for the others that are interested. Like, can you is there resources where you can go learn about how these different genetics work together and everything
Absolutely.
like that?
Absolutely. So help.zedchampions.com. We have a whole player's guide on there where if you're new to the game or even if you're an old player, we actually have an FAQ designed specifically around old players that are coming back to Zed after maybe a few year hiatus. Or if you're a new player, we have a new guide up there as well, and it'll walk you through all the ins and outs of bloodline, generation, augments, staking, breeding, everything you need to know.
Awesome. I'll go ahead and drop that in chat for everybody. Help at help.zedchampions.com. That way everybody can make sure that they are breeding smarter than me. But it's all super cool. I love games that like are simple to play but difficult to master, right? Like you've got
Yes,
all the different nuances and things that go into it to like build a good stable or to intelligently stake, right? And these are the things that takes time to actually understand the in and outs of to accomplish well anyways.
exactly. But it's still simple enough to retain players on that first session, right? It's sticky enough so you're hooked as soon as you put in your first stake, right? And again, by design, it takes 5 seconds to stake on a horse. It takes, 8 hours to breed a horse, but it's super simple. It's a few clicks. But then once you do it, you're going to understand the mechanics and you're going to want to get better. Right. And you have a bunch of players who still don't understand the game, but they're just having fun exploring all the different nuances that have been kind of invented with this mechanic.
Totally. Yeah. And yeah, it's great. Like I lost my train of thought. I apologize. But no, it's really good stuff. Like I like being able to go deeper and deeper. Like, you can start out surface level. Like, when I opened up the game, I turned on a stream and it's like, let's figure it out. And then, you do some things, you're like, oh, what about this? And that's it, games that make the wheels turn a little bit, right?
Exactly. And one thing that we actually haven't even discussed yet, and this is also really exciting because I wanted this so bad as a Zed Run player, and it never was the case, which was races, watching races. In the old
Yes.
Zed Run game, when I was watching a race, I loved the old Zed Run graphics. It was great, and we've remodeled them for this new game. But the disappointing thing was that the races actually didn't matter in respect to how good your horse was, right? It was just a random roll of the dice, right? It would run some simulations and then kind of spit out a random one. And how the horse did in the race, like if it was trailing behind or if it had like a big spurt of energy towards the finish line, it actually wasn't indicative of any traits or underlying performance from that horse. Same thing with the competition in the field, right? How your horse did with other horses, you couldn't really analyze. And I'm sure your buddy who has the real horse racing business would tell you that spectating and watching your horse is a huge part of the real world of horse racing because you want to see how they do on the track. You want to see how they do with the competition. And with our game engine, we actually made that the races matter in ZED Champions. So when you watch a race, when you watch your horse that you've either staked on or you bred, if you watch them race against other horses, you will actually see real performance happening in real time. The horse performance on the race is truly indicative of its performance against the competition, which unlocks like a door that was never even available in the old Zed Run game. And that was something that we're super excited about.
It's really cool too because you can actually see like when the augments activate and everything like that
Yes.
too. Should we show them
Yes.
a race?
Yeah, exactly. So my horse isn't racing right now, but let's put them in. Let's go. The Altitude Cup. Here we go.
Super clean looking. I love the futuristic racing in the sky. It's like Mario Kart except horses, right?
Yeah, exactly. 1 second. I think I messed up. Here we go. Yeah, I mean this it's clean, it's the same Zed Run graphics, just more polished. We're using Unreal Engine, which is really exciting. So we're super excited about that. And you can see that these horses are it's indicative of like their actual performance. You can actually view the race and see the results. And look at that. I mean, super clean graphics. We're very excited about it.
Yeah, I love when the augment activates to like where if somebody next to them passes them, like they go on fire and they just start going
Yeah,
fast.
exactly. So again, um, just a lot of hard work that went into this game, right? A lot of detail and a lot of hard work and nuance that we really wanted to capture with this new game. And I think that the team has done a great job so far.
I definitely agree. It goes to show, but and I'm sure you have a lot more planned too. Could you talk about anything that's like upcoming, like future plans and stuff like that? I know you already leaked some stuff, but hey, if you have more to leak, I'm sure everybody will be
Yes.
accepting.
Yeah, so I mean, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but Zed Picks is kind of the next evolution of this entire racing format, right? Like what we're trying to accomplish. Like we have the two subsets of Zed champions, right? We have the breeders, we have the horse owners, right? And now we have the stakers, right? But we need someone at the very top of the funnel that will not only watch the races but pick on the races, right? We want them to wager on the races. We want them to come in and we want them to make it's technically sweepstakes style picks on real races, right? All of a sudden, you're talking about people breeding horses, racing them, managing them, staking them, and then you have a completely new platform that's already on the app stores. So if you have an Apple device, it doesn't matter what device you have. If you have Apple, go if you have iOS, go to the iOS App Store, and if you have Android, go to the Google Play Store, type in Zed Picks, and you can download this app. It was just released this month, and we're building a completely new experience where people can watch these races that we're watching now and make pick'em style um, picks on them. And it's super easy to learn too. All it takes is you have to log in and you just pick 2 to 4 horses. So each horse race is 8 horses that compete, and all you have to do is just pick 2 to 4 horses, and the more picks that you have, obviously the more payout, and then you're off to the races. That's it. And we right now we have a social casino mode, and then later this month we're going to have a Z Cash mode, and that's going to be real money sweepstakes. So again, super excited. I think we're revolutionizing this entire industry. Web3, we're bringing Web2 people as spectators into Web3, and then the idea is they get hooked and they want to be a part of the Web3 experience. This whole funnel is designed so that you come from Web 2 and all of a sudden you're making picks on horses. Okay, let me check out what the actual real horses are like. All of a sudden they go from making picks on the horses on a Web 2 app to staking horses on a Web 3 app to then breeding and owning horses on the Web 3 app. You just converted a Web 2 player into Web 3, and that's what it's all about.
And that's what a lot of Web3 games are actually missing. Like you're almost holding their hand through the whole story, right? And then getting them involved and hooked. Ultimately, it's hooked, right? And
Exactly.
it's important to be able to do that. If you're just like, oh, this game's on the blockchain, you own your assets. Like most gamers and stuff, that just kind of turns them away. They're like, I still don't really care. But
They're on fire. Look at them.
yeah,
That's fucking
that's
awesome.
awesome. I love it. But I
That's
love the
great.
thought process of like how to generate adoption within your game as well. Not just Web3 adoption, but Web2. I think that's really critical. And a lot of people overlook that fact. They're like, how do we get Web2, Web3 people to come play and buy assets? Well, it's a lot bigger than that because there's a whole lot more non-crypto people than crypto people.
Exactly. Exactly. And we want them to be a part of this experience, right? Like we want to build the rails for them to kind of go through this whole process because we were Web 2 people at one point that I had no idea what Web 3 was or anything like that. And then we kind of went through and now we're on the other side and we want to bring more people to this space. We want to spread digital ownership to other people because it's only a matter of time, right? We all know it. The world is just keep getting more and more digitized, and it's only a matter of time before Web3 dominates everywhere. So we want to
Well,
be a part of that.
you've got me there. I fully agree with that. I've got no arguments there. Web3 will dominate. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But
Exactly.
so we got Zed picks, we've got shortened timers coming in. And you know, these are all massive things. You just did a $60,000 airdrop basically to hundreds of people. Where do you, with all, when you think about it and you take a step back and you realize what all is going on and everything you see happening with the player base and the community and, you know, all of that, where do you really see the game at in like 3, 6 months or so?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot on the roadmap. We have a lot like planned out. Both platforms, right? So Zcash we want in Zed Picks, so real money sweepstakes. Obviously, that's going to be a huge driver of Web2 traffic, right? Augments we've talked about. We're building out an entire ecosystem of augments. So right now it's only the 15 that I showed, right? But in the next few months, we're going to build out an entire marketplace, an entire economy around augments. That includes rarity, that includes durability, right? And you're going to kind of see even more strategy take place. Uh, Official creator API. Something that we mentioned earlier on the call. We want people to use official API to build tools for the community, right? Again, like we want everyone to be involved. And I think our biggest cheerleaders, they are and should be the players in the game, the players playing the game every day and building tools to onboard other new players. Seasonal quests is actually a personal favorite of mine. It's something that I'm spearheading, but we want there to be even more content and more actionable items to do when you log into the game. So think about on a seasonal basis, kind of like a battle pass, there's always something for you to do and to complete, and you'll get rewards from it. You'll get augment packs, you'll get loot boxes, you'll get ReZED, you'll kind of get everything from these seasonal quests, and there'll be a leaderboard where it'll show you like the biggest questers of the season, and
Nice.
that'll have its own rewards. So again, very excited about what's on the roadmap. And again, going back to Zed Picks, it's super simple to get in. You pick 2 to 4 horses in an 8 horse race, but we're going to continue to build out that app. We're going to include streaks. We're going to include parlays. We're going to really build that out in the next 3 to 6 months. So building in parallel, basically.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense. And it's also super exciting. Like everything you just said, it almost sounds like ZED Champions is going to become like a horse racing MMO, basically. Like you're going to have
Yes,
quest lines, racing, breeding, you got marketplaces. Like that is awesome because having more rarities and stuff for the augmentations is even better, right? Obviously there's
exactly.
risk, and I'm sure you guys are taking all that into account, but yeah, no, it just makes it way more like, what's the word I'm looking for? Interactive. There we go.
Exactly. We're building a whole full scale economy around our ecosystem, around the ZED IP. And the thing that powers it all is the ZED token, right? And it doesn't get more Web3 than that. So we're very excited for what we're building. We're very excited for the future.
Yeah, I'm super stoked to see where it goes because I've had a ton of fun playing it the last couple days. I'm going to keep playing it. I've got Marky Mark that's about to hit the track and he's going to go ballistic. Mark my words. Marky Mark,
Oh
mark my
yeah.
words.
I I wish you luck. Yeah, that's awesome. I almost was going to say like I kind of want to stake on him right now.
He's not
That
very
would
good.
be
He's like 2.5 stars.
if you send me if you send me the link, send me the link in our studio chat, and I'll pull him up and we can uh, we can stake on him. But
I've got Marky Mark right here. Don't you worry.
perfect, perfect.
Oh, let's
But
see.
yeah, I mean, it's super exciting. Like here we go. Gonna share this tab instead. Marky Mark, let's go. Stake on this horse. See, you want to be the first staker. You want to be the first staker. I'm gonna go Zed. I'm gonna go 1,000 ReZED stake.
Marky Mark for champion. Let's go.
Let's go.
Absolutely awesome. Yeah, and it's going to become even more fun. I can't wait for all the new releases that you mentioned. I'm going to have to check out the ZED Picks app. I was thinking about doing it while
Please,
we were here on the
yes.
call, but like I
You
wanted to
gotta.
pay attention to you.
Yes, I appreciate it. If you're watching though, definitely go to your phone's app store and type in ZED Picks and start making picks. It's that simple. And like I said, Zcash will come around the corner, and you're going to be able to make picks on real money sweepstakes, and that's what it's all about. It's super exciting.
Yeah, and not only that, everybody, you've got, I mean, if you are a Dropzone holder, you've got $105 in ReZED that you can claim, and you can
Stake on
start
Marky Mark. Stake on
staking
Marky
on Marky
Mark.
Mark. The
Exactly.
future is Marky Mark. He may be 2.5 stars now, but just you wait.
I'm telling you, you never know, right? You never know with some of these horses.
You
Stars
never
aren't
know.
everything. I'm just going to say that stars aren't everything.
Yeah, very true. I'm just going to scan chat here, though, see if there's any last minute questions I might have missed. Other than that, do you have any last things you want to discuss or final words, Ian?
I think we covered everything. I'm really excited, like I said, for all these new players from Medicaid. I mean, over 550 players that have been verified with their NFTs. If you haven't done it yet, please go and connect your wallet. But we're super excited to have you. Follow us on our socials, ZED Champions on X. Come to our Discord. Our Discord is always popping off. We have pretty much 24/7 conversation there. It's very exciting, and just be a part of the community.
Absolutely. I think everybody should do that, especially if you're trying to play the game. If you want to play it better, working with the community might help you out.
Exactly.
So yeah, you don't want to just breed with any random 2.5 star mare out there.
But you do want to stake on a 2.5-star horse named Marky Mark.
Ian knows the drill.
Exactly.
Looks like the last question we really have, and then we can go ahead and wrap it up. And we already talked about this, but just to clarify it, any male that is in the breeding pool and has available breed spots can be put in. I thought this was a question. He was actually answering the question above it. So,
oh, cool. Hey guys, what's up, man? He's one of our moderators in Discord. Again, come to our Discord. It's always a great time. Guys is great. It's always a party.
Well, it's been an absolute party having you on, Ian, and I'm stoked that you guys did this collaboration with Medicaid. It's a huge airdrop, and you can actually do a lot in the game with the airdrop as well. Tons of different options. Yeah. So I'm stoked to see where this goes and what more comes out of this new Medicaid community that has gotten into ZED Champions now. Maybe we'll have a new 5-star stud out of a Medicaid Dropzone holder.
It's definitely possible, 100%. This is just the beginning, I'm telling you. It's going to be a long and prosperous partnership between Medicaid and Zed, and I'm excited for the future. Always have been, always will be.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see the next update and when we get the augment marketplace so I can snipe all those S tier augments from everybody, just like I sniped my 2.5-star mare. But thank you so much, Ian. It's been an absolute pleasure doing this show with you. I've learned so much. I hope everybody else did as well. And hey, maybe we'll have to revisit this sometime in the future.
Definitely. I'm available anytime. Super excited. Had a great time with you, Josh. Hopefully, I was helpful to the Medicaid community. And yeah, let's do this again.
Absolutely. Let's do it. Well, other than that, guys, that's about all we have. Make sure you do give ZED Champions a follow on X and hop in that Discord so you can get involved with the community. Ian, is there anywhere anybody can find you?
I just spun up a VHS a Zed account. Yeah, so it's soon underscore base underscore ETH on X. Soon dot base dot ETH is my base ENS name. That's a meme from the old ZED game where all these features were always coming soon. And so soon underscore base underscore ETH. You can find me there.
Dropped it in the chat. So if you guys need, I won't open you up to that, but you should just message them your questions anyways. But what you should really do is hop in the Discord so you can find out
more. Come to the
more.
Discord. Exactly. Come to the Discord. We're having a party. People will answer your questions. I'll be there. Other members will be there. Geis will be there. It's always a good time.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ian. Everybody, make sure you smash up the like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time with another Medicaid Dropzone stream. Peace.
Thanks, guys.